Hello, this is Myra Elaine on the Buying Space channel. Happy Sabbath. I'm so glad I moved my Torah readings to Saturday. It just seems more authentic. We are in the Omar. And the Omar is a time between the Festival of First Fruits, which is in the Festival of Unleavened Bread, which is in Passover. And the Festival of First Fruits is the second day of Passover, or the first day of Unleavened Bread. And 49 days after the Festival of the First Fruits is the Festival of Weeks, or Shouvot. And it's 7 weeks from the Festival of the First Fruits, the day after. So you count the day, and then it's 50 days, but it's 7 weeks. And I just read in Leviticus, out of the Torah, about the Festival of Weeks, or Shouvot, and what was to be done during the sacrifice. So I thought in these weeks in between, these 7 weeks, I would read the book of Ruth, and I would also read scriptures that are read by the Jews during Shouvot, before Shouvot. And then I would move on to the next festival in Leviticus 23. So during Shouvot, or the festival weeks, Ruth is read. And I'll talk more later about why Ruth is read during the Omar and during the Festival of Weeks, or Shouvot, at a later time as we get near the end. So we have Ruth chapter 1, verse 1. And it came to pass in the days when the judge judged that there was a famine in the land. And there went a certain man of Bethlehem, Judea, sojourn to the fields of Moab, he and his wife and 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife was Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons, Mishon and Kilvon, Ephraimites of Bethlehem, Judea. And they came unto the fields of Moab, and remained there. Thereupon died Elimelech, Naomi's husband, and she was left with her 2 sons. And they took themselves wives of the women of Moab. The name of one was Ophrah, and the name of the other was Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years. And then died also both of these, Mishon and Kilam, and the women were left deprived of 2 children and her husband. Then did she arise with her daughters-in-law, and returned homeward from the fields of Moab, for she had heard in the fields of Moab that the Lord had thought of his people in giving them bread. Therefore she went forth out of the place where she had been, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her, and they went on their way to return to the land of Judea. Then said Naomi to her 2 daughters-in-law, Go and return each one to her mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you, as ye have dealt with the dead and with me. Now, Naomi realized in Judea, 2 Moabite women would not be able to marry into to a Jew. They would not. It would not have been socially acceptable for them to marry Jewish men. So she was basically blessing them and saying, you don't have to follow me. You can have a life here. You're both widows. You can remarry. May the Lord grant you that ye may find rest, each one in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted their voice and wept. And they said unto her, No, but truly we will return with thee unto thy people. They said, Naomi, return back, my daughters. Why will ye go with me? Are there yet any more sons in thy womb, that ye may become your husbands? So she's saying because of her age, she can maybe have more sons, but maybe not. But if she does, would they wait until they're men? Return back, my daughters, go, for I am old to become the wife, and any man, yea, if I were to even think I have hope, should I ever obtain this night a husband, and should also have sons, bear sons, would ye wait for them until they were grown? I would ye stay yourselves for them, so it is not to become the wives of any man, not my daughters, for I feel much more bitter pain than you, because the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. And they lifted up their voice and went a long time, and Oprah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth cleaved to her. And she said, Behold, thy sister-in-law is returned back unto her people, and only her gods. Return thereafter to thy sister-in-law. And Ruth said, Urge me not to leave thee, to return from following thee, for whether thou goest, I will go, and whether thou lodge, I will lodge. The people shall be my people, and thy God my God. So there were several layers of things going on here. The 2 daughter-in-laws loved Naomi. She'd been very good and kind to them, and they loved her. But Ophrah was okay with returning to worshiping Moloch, who required the sacrifice of children. Ruth, however, had seen the God of Naomi as a just and good God, and wanted to follow Yahweh and not Moloch anymore. In addition to Naomi being so good to her and loving her and not wanting her to die out there alone, she also truly believed in God and wanted to continue to worship the one true God and not the pagan deity that was in Moab. Where thou diest, I will die, and where that I will be buried. May the Lord do unto me, and more it also ought not, but death shall part me from thee. So she's saying, I'm going to be with you until we die. When she thus saw that she was persisting to go with her, she left off speaking unto her. So these two went until they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass, when they entered Bethlehem, that all the city was in commotion about them. And people said, Is that Naomi? And she said unto them, Call me not Naomi, call me Mara. For the Almighty hath dealt very bitterly with me. I went out full, but empty hath the Lord brought me home again. Why then will I call me Naomi, seeing the Lord hath testified against me, and the Almighty hath afflicted me? So did Naomi return, and Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, with her, who had returned out of the fields of Moab. And they came to Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. So during the beginning of the barley harvest, so that would have been near the Festival of the First Fruits. And they were completely without a house, like we talk about the house of David. Jesus was in the house of David. Joseph was in the house of David. And why would God or the Bible tell this narrative about these two women? This ordinary thing where they had famine, so her husband left and her husband died, and then her sons married these two Moabite men or women, and then they died, and then the widow and one of her daughter-in-laws returns. Why would the Bible be concerned about these women and what they did? This kind of thing happened all the time. The people probably felt like, they were punished because they were disloyal and they left. And Naomi, or Mara now, her husband made that decision for the family to move because they weren't doing well in Bethlehem. And now just his widow and one daughter-in-law has returned because they were cursed and did not get along in Moab. Why would the Bible be concerned with the plight of these women? We'll find out as we read more in Ruth, and I hope you all have a wonderful Shabbat or Sabbath and a wonderful and blessed day.